evening. I'd like to call to order a regular scheduled park board meeting for January 24th, 2019. Can I get a roll call?
President Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Here.
Commissioner Cook,
Here.
Commissioner Biedke,
Here.
Commissioner Sauter.
Here.
First on the agenda is approval of minutes. January 10th, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting, January 10th, 2019 regular meeting, and January 12th, 2019 special public meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No one's opposed. More minutes were January 10th, 2019 closed session meeting. I need a motion and a second on this one.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Biedke,
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
President Walsh.
Yes. And then last one on the minutes is January 12th, 2019, another closed session meeting. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
A roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Biedke,
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
President Walsh.
Yes. Okay, we are currently now at public communication. We do have a fair amount of people in here, which is rare but nice. So whoever would like to start, you don't have to do your name or address like we used to, but you do have to come up to that microphone so we can hear you. Oh, no, you guys, you got a special line. You got a special line on this. So anybody want to speak, questions, comments?
I guess it's us.
You got to come up here.
So, I don't know if you guys.
Effie, nobody can hear until you're, there you go.
Go up as a group then.
So I'm kind of speaking. Hi, how are you guys?
Fine.
Good times. We had, between three of our advisory boards, Amazon Association, basketball, football, and soccer. I know it's something that it's not across the board. Everyone has, regarding refunding, reimbursements, however we want to call that. But we had some points that we wanted to, either I can pass this along, or I can read them out loud so you guys can all hear our points that we are trying to make about, getting reimbursed for our coaches. One thing that I keep advocating for that is just because, to give you an example for our coaches for house and or travel. Travel, they put in a lot of time in-house as well, and it's one way to get our coaches to bring their equipment back, like the keys that we give out, and it's just an incentive, right? Like, hey, you do the work, you bring your key back, we give you a refund. It's $60, it's not a lot of money, and I think it's well deserved. I think with our volunteer travel coaches as well, they put in a lot of time, and I know we all talk about volunteer time and it's volunteering, but I still think it's something that, being that we're an all year round sport, it's hard for us to be compared to or every program, because we are different. Like I said, we go three seasons, and they're putting in a lot of time. So I think it's well deserved. And the same goes for our board members. I don't know if you think that I'm advocating this so much for myself, because it's not. I know I have kids in the program, but for me, it really, that's how I bring our board members in. If I tell my board members, hey, why, what's my incentives for spending all these hours? And I tell them, it's like, look, we can do something, we can waive your fees. I think that's a fair deal. You guys as commissioners also get something, and it's well deserved. You put in a lot of time and effort. I don't want to keep coming here and arguing and, saying, like, repeating myself either, because I feel bad. I don't want to waste your time either, but you guys have perks as well, and you should get them, So I think we're not asking you guys, like, this is just something we've always had, and I don't think that we should be taking that away from our community. And you guys are here for our community and for our Elk Grove residents, and we are Elk Grove residents that are working for our kids, So
I'm Melanie from the football board. And for ours alone, it takes over 800 volunteer hours just to do the season alone. That's not preseason, that's not postseason. I agree with everything that Effie was saying. Our head coaches get reimbursed and that makes them come back. It makes them motivated to come back. And we have a lot of coaches that actually do not have kids in the program, so they're not getting that reimbursement. But we do have people that come back with it, and the amount of time, and it is something that we're asking over and over and over. And it does bring down our morale that we have to continually keep asking.
Effie, if you want, we can make copies of that, and I can give it to each of the commissioners.
Oh, okay. All this public speaking stuff. It says, when we discussed becoming an advisory board with the Park District, the Park District Board told us that they are not here to change how we have done things. And at least 3 boards have had it in their bylaws, a way to reimburse their board members and coaches. The question is, what is your justification for changing what we have always been doing when you said you did not want things to change?
And our 2019 budgets were already approved by you guys.
Can you tell us?
Somebody's right behind you.
Oh, hi there. Yeah,
Sorry.
no.
I'm Emily Ahrens from football, and I just wanted to say that with all of the things that you heard tonight, that's representing all of the boards here, which is basketball, football, and soccer. At the end of the day, when we got this news about the Park District and the committees coming together, we really had a chance to see it as an opportunity to grow as a community. The Park District in Elk Grove is strong. People stay in Elk Grove and they stay in these sports because of the Park District. This is, they produce great programs, and this is a wonderful community. And the thing is we're built on volunteers. And if we want these programs to stay the way they are or flourish or grow, we need to come together. And it's not that you have to offer the volunteers anything, but it's that we need to feel that we trust each other. Do you know what I mean? And this is something that we had, and maybe going forward, we could talk about coming up with some kind of compromise. But we had this in our budgets, and we had this planned out, and this was something that these people came to expect. And you know, we just are hoping that we can come to a compromise that will make the volunteers feel like they matter and make these programs something that they already are or could be even better. So.
Okay. I'll throw it around the room. I can start, however. Effie and I spoke on Saturday after our, I'll call it a PDU, that's probably not the right term, but our training or whatever.
Yeah.
We had a good conversation. It went long, but I was happy to do that. And then 2 days later, I ran into Debbie Rogers, and I kind of got her and said, hey, you know, this is where we're at with this. You tell me what you're expecting. And she gave me, you know, her thoughts. And then Commissioner Biedke and I have talked, and Commissioner Sauter and I have talked on the phone. So as of yesterday, Bob, right, you were gonna try to put together some sort of, and as I told Bob, I said, you know, put together something, a compromise of some sort. It's not to say that it's gonna be accepted, but this topic keeps going on and on, further and further we go. So he's gonna try to put together something that we could take a look at. But again, you know, that's not a guarantee that it would ever pass, but it's better than just saying no.
But I'm just curious, why are we so hung up on this? Like, why is this, because I've been on the board, I feel like forever, right? Like, what, 8 years? I'm wondering, why is it an issue right now? Like, it hasn't been an issue all this time, and now it is. Can you guys explain to me why
Well,
that
I can
is?
give you a simple answer. One of the things that you said is that we said as a board that there were gonna be no changes. We never said that. We said, no, we never said that.
Oh, I
Never
apologize
said
then.
that. We
I mean,
said we
like-
wanted to do this with as little change as possible, and the main point was to have the kids, have this be transparent to the kids. I'm not arguing the merits of compensation versus non-compensation of the board members and coaches. But what I will say is we've got 4 programs right now that don't offer anything back to their coaches and 3 that do. And what we did say throughout this whole thing is we're trying to make all this consistent across the programs.
But it's hard, right, and I get that, I totally get it, and I apologize for putting words in your mouth, you know, I don't mean to say that, you're right, you didn't say about changes or whatever, but
No, in fact, I said there were gonna be some, but
I get it.
But we're trying to make them as, you know, I think I told Emily and Melanie and Debbie when they were at my house, is we're trying to keep these things from being big Chicago sized potholes and, as best we can, so. And to John's point, this is on the table. I mean, you know, we made a decision to, I think it was soccer through your programming year in the spring, and basketball was already in their winter programming. And then after that, no more compensation, but, and then I've said this to everybody that I've talked to, we're willing to listen, because that's our job, we have to listen to you.
Yeah, I don't wanna keep coming here, you know what I mean, and doing like the.
Well, this is gonna be
public speaking,
discussed.
Right, like I think, like I just don't understand why we can't maybe find like a common ground, right? Like, cause obviously you see there, and I know it's just me and Kathy and Mary Ellen that keep coming, but unfortunately, like a lot of our board members, like I know quite a few of them today, they had kids sick at home and they really did wanna come here, you know? And I wanna send it to coaches, like house coaches, and say, hey, what's your take on this? But I feel like by doing that, I'm just creating drama, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, no, it's not drama, this is an
well,
important
I
issue,
mean, like,
all
I
this is
just
important.
conflict, you know, and I
Yeah.
feel like, I know that it's an issue for them, like, that's an incentive for them. And I guess maybe my word isn't enough, you know, but, I mean, is that what it's going to take for you guys to really understand, like, where we're coming from? Because we do work a lot with a lot of those parents. I feel like I know a lot of the parents, and I understand what their needs are, you know? There are kids that are in multiple sports, and so some of my board members are on there, and it helps them, you know, and it gives them the ability to have, you know, but they're putting in the time, so it's.
Let's see if there's any other comments from people on the
Oh,
board.
yeah,
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
we'll
sorry.
I wanna,
answer some
I
of
wanna
those
say one
questions.
thing along those lines, though.
Yeah.
And again, you've kind of said that you had to keep coming here to be heard. We've heard it. We understand the issues, and as I've said to a number of different people, we're gonna continue to investigate this. One of the things that I had said we were going to do is have a meeting in February. Tammy and I talked today, and we're looking at the schedule. It's probably not gonna be till March. We're gonna have a roundtable with all the associations.
To talk about
To talk
compensation.
about that kind of thing, compensation and any other potholes that we can help keep from getting huge. And then we'll continue to have those conversations as we go. And I think Tom Busby has said at every meeting we've had about this is, none of this is in stone, it's all in paper, and it's in pencil, and I got an eraser right here. But we're gonna make those decisions as we go forward and get more information. Now, that meeting we're gonna have in February, March, I think football, you guys are May registration?
No, we're April.
April
And
registration.
that's one of the things, I mean, for our board, we're really in transition, and that's one of the reasons when we've talked, I've asked for you to come to our next board
Yeah.
meeting. We're down a lot of people, and trying to get new people in is very, very hard. And not feeling that any of their time is gonna be compensated is one of the factors that we're not getting people in, and people are wanting to leave.
Right.
So having a decision in March when registration is at the beginning of April is gonna be very, very hard for our board.
I don't know how hard that's gonna be. It's just a simple phone call to some people and say, yeah, that's back on the table, or no, it's not.
Well, I think because we would like to have a board that's put together and that is working, and that's one of the deciding factors of some of our board members on whether or not they wanna be part of it.
Anybody else on this side of the table?
No, I'm just, there's been so much discussion on this, I'm not even sure exactly what you're being compensated, you know. I heard anywhere from reimbursement of your fees to a dollar amount. To me, it would be helpful if you told us exactly what you're looking, like coaches, is it different for coaches versus board members? I voted no against compensation, because I still think we should be able to fund it with volunteers, but if we can't, you know, maybe in some situations, we might have to pay people to do it, so I'd be interested in knowing exactly what you're asking for. For who to be paid, is it coaches, refs, everybody in the line is volunteering anytime, Is it strictly board members? Is it boarders and coaches? So I think putting that out as to what you're actually asking for would be helpful, you know, from a yes, no.
And every team is different, and every league is different.
For football.
For football is different than soccer than it is for basketball.
Right, but the boards, for the sport, each sport should be consistent. I know we'd like to get
But I
all
mean,
the
like,
boards
she's
consistent,
like
but.
here, she's saying their first meeting is in April. We're January through December. I mean, we may take one meeting off, but
Our registration is in April.
They have meetings in January as well.
No, you said it was in your
Go all
budget.
year?
We go
You have
out.
meetings all year?
Our
You said you had it in your budget though, what did you budget for?
Oh, so we budgeted, so because we have house and travel together, so we're under one umbrella. But our house coaches, we refund them at the end of the season if they return their equipment. And it's in the fall and spring, it's
So you
60
refund, one per household, every kid in the household, or what do you refund?
It's what so if they coach 2 teams, then we refund them $60 times 2, if it's for 2 kids. If they coach 2 teams. If they coach 1 team, it's just that amount.
So
At the
Effie,
end of the
in
season.
your budget that you submitted, and this goes for football and basketball as well, is there a line item in there that says coaches refund, board members refund?
So, you can do it, go ahead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name's Chris Creation, I'm the treasurer for the soccer board. For house, for indoor, and for the house fall and spring leagues, there is a line item.
Okay,
It says the refund for the coaches.
okay.
For the
What about
board,
travel?
the board is covered by an estimated number of players playing to cover all the expenses. So the board members there's no refund, the board members just don't pay upfront.
So there's no line item for
There's no
travel,
line item.
so we can see that that value is 2,000
Is
or
X or
20,000?
whatever.
And
Correct.
In our budget, though,
You
in our
gotta-
budget report.
You just gotta come up to the microphone. It's just so nobody will be able to hear what you're saying
Oh,
at
okay,
home.
sorry.
That's right.
And even they're still gonna hear it
Yeah,
chatter,
right.
but
In our budget report, though, I mean, I don't have it in front of me to confirm, but we should have a line that says board.
Refunds?
Not refunds, but compensations, I think. But I'd have to pull that up to see that,
I think it's in our worksheet of how we came to our numbers.
oh, okay,
All right, Bill, do you have
which we
anything?
can provide.
Effie already knows, and I'm sure it's been passed around. I voted, I'm on record at a committee of the whole, everybody knows I'm in favor of compensation. I think it's a minor amount, as long as it's transparent. Every resident that plays that individual sport knows that, hey, if you think it's a moneymaker, then go be an advisory board member and welcome to $100 or $200 and give up to $300. I don't think it's a problem with the residents that are in that. I do think if you're looking for consistency, that if advisory board members are gonna get a small compensation, and board members are gonna get a small compensation, and staff is gonna get small compensation, then if we're supposed to be one team, we should be all in it for together. What the one lady said is what I was hoping to do when I voted for compensation, and I know there's another board member that voted for compensation. My goal was to get to the compromise, which was, once 3 or 4 people said, yes, it's okay to compensate any kind of boards, then we would have started talking about dollar amount. Because then you have to draw a line somewhere. That yes, if one sport is compensating people where it ends up you're getting a couple $1,000s of benefit, that can't happen, that's too much. But at the same time, if it's a waiving of a registration fee where it's consistent or whatever dollar amount is brought up between the advisory board, the general public that are playing that sport, and this board along with staff, I think we can come to a compromise. But again, we're not at that point. So I'm in favor of it. I hope that eventually we can maybe flip it 3-2, 4-1, where we can then start the debate on what is fair compensation. I also had mentioned to staff that it's really not moving money from one shelf to the other. Right now, I thought that we do things like this swimming pool party, or we invite all the board members and their children. I really haven't seen the benefit of that. It's nice that we offer that as a thank you, but if the advisory boards are saying, hey, we'd rather have our fees waived, don't worry about this pool party you're giving. If we're spending $3,000 or $4,000 to have 50 lifeguards and some food, and yet it's not being utilized by all the sports, and they're telling us, just give us the $50 or $100. What do I care? It's you guys that are volunteering. You're supposed to be that support team for us now in this program that's being rolled into the Park District. Those are all the reasons why I think compensation is fine.
All right, I gotta say one thing. You made it sound like your yes vote was putting a platform out there where we can make the decision. It's the same reason I made a no vote. It's so that you had clear, concise line now, and then we can figure out what's the compromise position. If we would've just said yes, you wouldn't have known what that yes meant. And you would have had uncertainty. So just to clarify that your yes vote wasn't any more noble than my no vote.
Yes it is, because I would have then started compromise.
Which comes back to, if we knew what you were asking for,
Yeah,
then
so
maybe we
that's
could
what we need
discuss
is
yes
information
or
so we
no.
can discuss it.
You have that information. So if you want to do, you
We don't
don't,
know what football versus soccer versus basketball
you know what their
is.
memberships are.
And we don't know where the line is gonna be, but now we know we're at a point, and then we can have more discussions, which is why I kept saying we're gonna have more discussion. We're gonna keep listening.
Well, I guess
Just get
my,
offended when you say, well, my vote was yes, and.
well, it is,
therefore I'm better.
because, no, it's not that I'm better, but again, I'll use my memory. If you're saying the information isn't out there, your son didn't play basketball, you don't know what registration is when they waive that fee, you don't know what
the
football
information
is?
Do you know how much each soccer?
I have a
player,
general-
coach, et cetera?
I have a
No,
general
we need
idea,
specific.
yes.
So
All right, I'll tell you what.
specific information.
We haven't heard from Bob yet. Bob, do you have any comments?
So I am another commissioner that voted in favor of the compensation, mainly because of the hours of all the volunteers that they have put in. If every single one of you have left, it would cost the Park District a lot more money to operate these programs. And so I feel it is a cost savings to our residents, to the participants of the program, and it's a thank you to the community. As in regards to Commissioner O'Malley just saying regarding Rainbow Falls, majority of you have passes to Rainbow Falls because I see you there over the summer. So I think we need to think a little more, how can we go above and beyond to say thank you, besides giving you something that you already have access to. So in regards to that, my concern with Commissioner Sauter is, so we said 3-2 that we're not going to allow it, but we want to hear what they have to say. Instead of saying that, I wish we would have said, let's give us the information and let's hear about it. So let's continue as you've been operating for years. You said you've been on the board for 8 years.
Maybe 7, I don't know.
7, 8 years, however. But they've been doing this for many, many years. So let's continue, let's figure it out and go from there instead of shutting it down and now causing a stir within the community. Because when this whole situation came about, it was Perderma coming to us and saying 3 things needed to change. And so the community says, okay, we're on board, we want to change it, we want to work with you, the Park District. So us as the Park District, we come together as a staff and as a board, along with the residents, we figure out how to make that change so that Perderma accepts it, but now we're going above and beyond. Now I understand there's some legality changes that we have to make, and the residents, the participants need to understand that there's certain things that we must change to be legal. We don't want to have a 13-year-old refereeing a game and violate the law in that way, because that's a penalty to the Park District. Okay, so there's certain things, and there's other issues. I bring up that issue, but there's other issues that bring up a legality part. So we need to tackle those, handle those. So that's what we're having discussions in. We just rolled out the training program on a Thursday, I think it was.
Thursday and Saturday.
Thursday and Saturday. So staff is currently, they have videoed the meetings. They're currently reviewing it, how everything went internally. And then we're going to get feedback from you, the advisory board members, on how you think things went, what changes can we make, because we want to develop that partnership. We want it to be a partnership. We want you to be happy, we want to be happy, we want staff to be happy. We want to have that environment. So I don't like the tension that's currently going on within this community, and I just would like to calm everyone down. I want to work with you. So I had talked to Commissioner Walls, and I had talked to Commissioner Sauter. And I agree with what Commissioner O'Malley had just said with a compromise. We need to figure something out. So I had asked them if I can work on developing a proposal that would benefit you as the advisory board members, and it would benefit the Park District. And so I'm currently in the process of working on that proposal. I have spoken obviously with the board members of the 3 that are currently getting compensation, which is basketball, which is soccer, and which is football. I did reach out to house baseball yesterday, and I did have a conversation with the commissioner, Tony Coletta. And so I did get his input on that, and he's open to it through our conversation, and he's going to bring it to his board and have a discussion with them just to see where their board is on that. I still have to have a conversation with inline hockey, Tim. I still have to have a conversation with softball, Roger. And I still have to have a conversation with Marty for travel baseball. Did I miss any other one?
That's it.
So I'm in the process of gathering that information, but I agree. We have to have a compromise that I think will be acceptable for everybody moving forward. But we want to work with everyone.
Do you think you'll have that done prior to our next scheduled meeting?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to say yes, but that's my goal.
Did you have some comments?
We have a question. If you guys aren't on the same page as us or whatever, and you have to go through this, why vote? Why not come back to us as an advisory board and say, guess what? We're not on the same page. We need information from you. We're not going to vote. We're going to get the information from you, and then we'll have a discussion so the compromise could have come together instead of causing the tension between all the boards and you guys. I mean, that would have solved a lot of problems. But right now, you guys voted. It came back no, so you got all the boards that got it in an uproar going, why? You could have done this and said, we have to have a discussion. We need this information from you before we shut you down. Because basically you shut 3 boards down and went with the 4 that didn't do it. So that would be the question. Why vote and put a vote on record when you need the information from us anyway? And that's what you're doing. You're asking us to come back to you with information. We could have given it to you and avoided this problem in the first place.
That's hindsight, no question. So, but, we're here now. We have to make,
But I mean, we were trying to say this to you all along. We've been coming to these meetings. Effie, Kathy, and myself for sure have been coming, arguing this point from point 1. And bring your information. And it was just like, nope, we're not doing it. Nope, we're not doing it. It's just kind of the relationship that has to happen in order for everyone to be happy. Not just us, you guys as well.
Right. But I think the reason I'll give you is that there was 3 of us that didn't feel you should be compensated. That's why we voted no. You've asked us to reconsider it. Bob has asked us to reconsider the 2 that believe that there should be compensation or a compromise reached, okay? You're here tonight asking us to reconsider. That's what we're offering to do, okay? If you want me to reconsider, what I'm saying is that I need to go back and have you clarify exactly what you're asking for. Because I don't know each of the different associations what they're currently asking for as far as dollar compensation or dollar reimbursement. So we voted, and I don't know if you had given us that up front, the answer still may be no after I see that. Hey, that's too much money. You want that? I still don't agree it should be, okay? But I need that, if you want me to reconsider my vote, I'm asking that at least we get that information for me to make that reconsideration, okay? But we did have 3 board members that felt there should be no compensation. That volunteerism is volunteerism, it's not being
So let me
compensated.
ask you a question. As a commissioner, if the community voted that commissioners get no
We
compensation,
don't,
would
by
you all do
law,
it?
we don't get compensated, okay?
You get perks.
You get perks.
No, but we
Right,
get,
but we don't take money out of the park district.
we get 0
But this is
compensation,
a
we
perk
get 0
that's built
compensation
into
by
the
law.
budget.
you're gonna have to step up, because
Sorry,
nobody at
so
home
we're-
will hear
Actually,
you.
sorry,
The access that we get
yeah.
to go to the golf course or go to the pavilion, so
Yeah.
we have access, because we have to make decisions about all of the different assets of the park district, so, you can say they're perks.
Does your
but
family members
they're
need to
not
have
gonna
access
incur-
then?
We don't have to incur an expense to have access,
Yeah.
okay, because
It's good.
our responsibility is doing it, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Does your family members have to have access then?
Do my family members have to have access? No.
But they do.
Well.
So it's a perk.
Well, no, well, I guess it's how you look at it. Do they have access? Do they give us feedback?
Do we
Yes, my
volunteer? Do
family
we
members.
do work that's not being paid for? It's all the way you look at it. And I'm not trying to be sassy, I really am not, but it's the same viewpoint, just on different edges.
So, in conclusion, I'm guessing, is you've asked us to look at it. We are gonna look at it. Unfortunately, things don't happen quickly when you have a board that meets every 2 weeks, all right? So, let's see, Bob will do his due diligence. I'm sure he'll be in contact with all the associations, see what comes back, and we will look at it. That's kind of our offer currently.
That's fair.
So we'll also make a copy of all the
Yeah, I need
budgets,
that.
the three association budgets, and we'll send that out to the commissioners so you can see if it's itemized or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then Bob,
I'm gonna be-
when you were asking the three, football, basketball, and soccer, were you getting that information on what they currently have as part of your?
That's some of the information that I need to gather. So I'm in the process of, as I said to you, fact finding. I also want to speak, I'd like to meet with Brad, because there's some other numbers that I would like to get, just to have the full picture
Okay,
with everything. So I'm gonna set up a meeting with Brad and get that information.
all right, so one of the things I said was we were talking about having a roundtable on this. It doesn't necessarily have to be on compensation itself. If we get information back timely from Bob, so that we can put this on a committee of the whole agenda, we can read,
Right.
address it. at
Because
one
I
time.
understand
So
what you're
it doesn't
asking.
have to wait till March, Melanie,
time.
so you guys aren't hemmed in on your April registration. When is inline's registration?
It's,
It's happening now?
yeah.
Saturday.
Well, it's
They've
irrelevant
already
to them.
started to
to
register
them.
though.
Yeah.
yeah, essentially they don't, they're not.
It's irrelevant to them because they didn't get it, so, and then basketball's got time. When do you guys go for the fall?
Well, we have our spring now. That's
No, I
coming
mean, but you were grandfathered in through the spring season.
up. Yeah, and then for the fall, we register in June.
Okay, Jim, all right.
Yeah.
So football's the most urgent of the three that are, so we'll try
They're all
and,
urgent.
we'll
No,
try and,
I'm kidding.
no, I mean urgent time-wise.
Yeah. Just to clarify too, for our board members.
You gotta come
we-
forward.
Oh, yes. For our board members, we don't, because I know you had a question on that, we don't get compensated at the end of the season or the year. We don't pay up front. We just pay like the $5, well, we should be paying just the $5 fee to the park, but that's it.
But see, you and I
And it
had
all
that conversation,
depends.
it kinda sounds like that there's no money gained or lost, and
But
we
like,
had
we're
that
not-
conversation Saturday saying, okay,
Yeah.
some of them get cut a check, but if you're not putting money into the fund balance, that's still compensation.
But here's the thing,
No,
like
no,
if I thought we
don't
were,
know, I don't know how you could say that, I don't know your numbers. Well, wait, let's just say your number for house is $200. I know that's not it, but let's just
Sure.
use it, right? It's compensation if you're waived, or it's compensation if you pay your 200 and you get it back when you turn in your key. And that's
Right.
just,
I think,
math.
right, of course. I
Okay.
think for every, so for us, everything's a little different. Like our house coaches, we refund them at the end of their season when they're done. With our travel coaches, if they're volunteers, because now we have paid coaches, but at the end of the spring season, so they go fall, winter, spring, we refund with our travel coaches and our board members, they come into the park district to register in June for the next year, for the 3 seasons, and their fee just gets waived.
okay. Well,
And
let me do
we-
this, let me get a
yeah.
copy of that.
Yeah, I apologize.
Can you
I
leave
kinda-
that with us, and then I can get
Yeah.
it to all of them? That would be good. And then Commissioner Biedke will do his due diligence and reach out to everybody, and we all are gonna discuss it. I mean, that's just kind of where we sit right now. That's a snapshot of where we're at.
Sure, and I do appreciate all of your time, because I know it could be a pain, but I do appreciate your
We
time.
appreciate and
Thank you.
all
By the way,
board
I did
members,
wanna-
coaches and
I did
whatnot.
wanna mention one more thing too, in terms of the timing, because that comment hit me, and Bob made it too, like, man, why did we make a vote on that? We had to get those manuals out for the PDUs. So we had to make a decision one way or the other, so we had it in the manuals, was the other reason.
But
And then
just
my
one-
no vote was so that we had that.
But one point, just so I'm clear, it was skipped over at the meetings, it was never even
Yeah,
discussed.
you're right, it wasn't discussed at the meetings. I actually talked to
Yeah,
Melanie and
both-
Emily about that
both
afterwards, like, I'm surprised they didn't come up.
Well, because it was skipped over, but who wants to talk about that in a big,
Well, no, maybe
Setting
in
like
that
that.
in that forum, it probably wouldn't have been,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but that's gonna be used for training for other people that couldn't make the PDUs and everything, but it will be discussed, that's my point, is that this isn't, again, nothing's in stone.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
if you could just leave that with me, I'll just take it now if you don't mind.
Yeah, but it's, okay.
So I'll figure it out.
I didn't fold it.
I'll just make copies and give it to everybody. All right, thanks.
I just wanted to say thank you again, and you, for Bob and Ralph, you guys have talked with me at length, and I appreciate it. And the other spot is communication, and we talked a lot about communication and bridging it between the affiliations, the staff, and the board, because especially for football, I don't think we feel that our needs have been brought to the board. And when we were able to meet, I felt like a lot of stuff was talked about that you guys have never even heard about before. So it really is about kind of bridging communication and teamwork, and for us to be able to move forward on a positive note. And so I just wanted to add that as well.
Okay. Any more comments from the audience? Okay. Next on the list is any correspondence. Does anybody have any correspondence they want to read or talk about? Nothing?
So when we talk about the letter from Tim,
Yeah, it's correspondence.
yeah, we got a letter, we talked about this in committee of the whole, letter from Tim Burns regarding I don't remember the context now. I throw it
The
out.
subject is demand and interest for,
Right, to assess the interest for a travel softball program within the Park District. And as some people might know, there is currently a travel program that's not affiliated with the Park District, the Heat. And that will be discussed, just so everybody, we don't have, you know, obviously didn't have time to discuss it in length tonight, but we're looking into it. That's it.
Okay. Now we're to the point. Special guests, Audrey Coe and Elizabeth Sloan from the Elk Grove Historical Museum.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Audrey, and I'm the coordinator over at the Elk Grove Historical Museum. So I'm really excited to introduce one of our newest hires. She just started with us earlier this month. Her name is Elizabeth Sloan, so I'll just pass it on to her and let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm the new educator at the Historical Museum. I actually grew up here in Elk Grove Village, and after bouncing around both nationally and internationally for a little bit, I'm back here, and I'm a historian by trade and also a program developer and educator. Before this, I was primarily working directly with schools to create new and exciting history education programs, and I'm really excited to actually come to a museum and work directly in the museum field here in the town I grew up in.
Very good.
Great.
Any questions? Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We hope you like everything there is to offer and make it even better.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me. Okay, we're at recommendations for acceptance and approval. First one is approval of purchase, including trade-in from Curie Motors fleet of Frankfort, Illinois, in the amount of $24,612 for a 2019 Ford Transit through the Suburban Purchasing Co-op. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Biecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
President Walt.
Yes. Next is the approval of purchase including trade-in from Curie Motors fleet of Frankfort, Illinois in the amount of $55,834 for a 2019 Ford F-450 through the Suburban Purchasing Co-op. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Biecki,
Yes.
President Walt.
Yes. Lastly, on approvals, I need approval of purchase of an all-terrain mower, Ventrek 4500Z from Burris Equipment Company in the amount of $28,355.26. This purchase was made through the GSA Advantage Governmental Purchasing Program. I need a motion and a second.
So,
Second?
No discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Biecki.
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
President Walls.
Yes. Okay, we're on committee reports, capital projects, Commissioner O'Malley.
No report, but Ben, just so you know, I want to have a report. I want to talk to you. The toughest part right now is Bob's schedule is really busy, so Bob is running through some dates that we can both be at the hookup with you. So as soon as Bob sends me a couple of dates.
Do you want me to start sending maybe how often do you want the, because right now there's no update on your capital project. Do you want me to send that out like in March to show you what?
That's fine. We'll meet before March and we'll come up with the details on that. Sometime in February is my goal to at least sit down with you and have Bob present. So Bob's gonna check his calendar. That's the delay.
Okay, any questions or comments for Commissioner O'Malley? Seeing none, we're over to the Finance Committee, Commissioner Sauer.
Okay, we got preliminary numbers for 2018. All expense this is corporate fund, all expense categories are under budget with the exception of capitals. And net revenue year-to-date was a loss of $489,000 compared to a loss of, budgeted loss of $922,000. And the recreation fund, fees and admissions were $2,317,000 compared to a budget of $2,243,000, so we did better there. Program fees were a little bit under budget at $2,084,000 compared to a budget of $2,172,000, but better than last year's $2,023,000. Net revenue is $36,000 compared to a budgeted loss of $1,181,000. Really? Undone capital projects?
Correct.
Okay. Again, all expense categories are under budget except for supplies. Golf had 26,657 rounds last year, compared to 30,235 in 2017. So the net revenue for golf year-to-date was negative 112,000 compared to a budgeted gain of 11,000. Driving range came in right about budget, 84,000 compared to a budget of 85. And again, all expense categories are at or under budget with the exception of benefits and miscellaneous. All of these numbers are subject to adjustments during the audit at year end. That ends my report.
Questions or comments for Commissioner Sauer? Seeing none, Committee of the Whole is myself. So on January 10th, in Committee of the Whole, we discussed partial temporary use from, tell me the school, Tom, Link?
yes?
Using some of our property for staging of equipment. We talked about golf course renovation, I should say maintenance / clubhouse renovation. And we spoke of the pending deal of Queen of the Rosary. That was it for January 10th. As for today we did resident Tim Burns' communication to us about a travel softball inquiry. We talked about athletic groups and associations. We talked about the golf course maintenance facility again. We spoke to Garden Terrace for a few minutes. And then in the new business, we talked about our high school basketball league and some of the rulings on an incident there. Am I missing anything? Okay, any questions or comments from me? Okay. All right, athletic committees, Commissioner Sauer?
As we mentioned, I'm not gonna go through everything we talked about today, but we talked about the training sessions for advisory board members that took place last Thursday and Saturday. There were, it was very well attended. I went to the one on Thursday, there were 29 people, and John went to the one on Saturday. Was anybody else there? Off the
No.
board? No, John went there, it was 17.
Well, there's 10 staff there, but.
Well, yeah, but I mean any of my other board members. There were 17 at that one. I think they were very informative. We, as was mentioned, we didn't discuss one of the hot topics, which is obviously compensation of board members for the three programs, but we will continue to discuss that, as we said, and Bob, I look forward to your analysis, evaluation, whatever you want to call it. It is a report.
Any questions for Ralph? Okay, Golf Course Committee, Commissioner Cook.
Nothing to report other than just to expand a little bit upon your comments, the committee of the whole, that we discussed the maintenance facility, basically 5 different options or variations, narrowed down a couple of them, and we're gonna get more details as far as confirming cost estimates, as well as some actual design inside the facility layouts, and hopefully have that for our next meeting. And that's my report on golf.
Questions for Commissioner Cook? Youth Committee, Commissioner Bied.
So, just basically, we had a youth meeting, it was just recently, or we were supposed to have a youth meeting and it was canceled. There's a new employee who's running the youth program, and I forget, you said the name. Irene, so Irene is getting used to everything that's going on, so we're gonna reschedule it once she has the opportunity to get used to everything and get aware of.
She's also getting dates for homecoming so that she can work on the different things that she wants to implement. So she's trying to work on that. So yes, it'll be coming.
So it'll be coming. So we'll have a meeting soon, so I'll be able to report more on what's going on. But for the community, remember, there's the teen and tween dances that are at the Elk Grove Pavilion, so remember to sign up for that. And we're now in 2019, so seniors at both Conant and at Elk Grove High School, start looking for flyers that should be coming out soon regarding the scholarship. Probably March they'll probably come out, but those located at the Elk Grove Village Hall, the library, and the Elk Grove Park District, and they're also on the village's website. And the Elk Grove Park District website. Yes, thank you.
I'm kind of new to the youth committee, but tell me, I thought it was high school senior that's a resident in Elk Grove Village. It's not just.
Resident, yeah.
It's just not Elk Grove High School in Conant, though. It
No,
could be
there's
St.
the-
Vite or Immaculate Conception.
You're
it could
correct.
be-
They're
Okay.
yes.
So a senior, current high school senior, that's a resident in Elk Grove.
Correct, yes, thank you for clarifying that,
No
yes.
problem.
You have to be a resident of
I'm
the
getting
Elk
there.
Grove Village.
Any questions for Commissioner Bianchi? Okay, Adult Center Committee, Commissioner Cook.
Yes, we had a meeting on January 8th and installed 3 new officers. President Barbara Brenke was elected, Vice President is Barbara Burke, and Nancy Harwig was elected treasurer. And they will be at our meeting in February to come in front of the board and be introduced and sworn in formally. Sad news, in January, or in December, we had 3 longtime members pass away. Angie Foster on December 6th. She was a past president of the advisory board and was involved in the senior Luray as well as the Lions Club extensively. Ed Mueller passed away on December 18th. Also a longtime member at the Sheila Ray Center. Jerry Kearns on January 5th. So our prayers are with their families, and they'll be greatly missed over at the Sheila Ray Center. There will be an open house held on February 28th. So if you're new to the community, or if you hadn't had a chance to check out the Sheila Ray Adult Center, it's a great time to come over and see what goes on over there. This is the first year I think we've sent out the Buzz report to all the households in Elk Grove. So even though you're not a current member, you still receive that Buzz thing, which shows all the activities for the quarter that will be going on there. And it's a great, if you have a parent or grandparent that's in the village, it's a great way to, maybe they're not aware of what goes on or what we have to offer there. So we thought it was a good investment to send that out to everybody in the community. Let's see here. We also character counts. The carnival will be on February 23rd from 5 to 7:30. Sheila Ray will have a booth there of volunteers participate in that event. And I think that ends my report. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Our memberships are compared This year to last year, they're up, and we think it is because of the buzz. There was a coupon to come in for a tour, and many people have come in for a tour and then become members. So we're pleased with that.
And that is my report.
Any questions? Okay, other committees?
The foundation met last week as well. Re-elected new board members. None of the positions have changed, so I'm still president, Kelly's vice president, Kelly Carver vice president, and Diane Malinowski as secretary. And, well, Kelly's treasurer, I'm sorry.
And
Lee's vice president, I'm sorry. Sorry, Lee. We also reviewed our 2019 budget for next year, as well as our fundraising projects that we're anticipating. The largest fundraiser will be the duck race. You'll hear more about that as we get closer to the summer. It will be at Rainbow Falls in August, right? And more to come on that. As well as also sponsoring the bike race, Mayor's Bike Race in May.
Okay.
How many years have you been president?
Long time.
Long time?
Too long.
All right, do we have any old business? Seeing none, do we have any new business? Seeing none. Thank you, Kathy, for letting me know how to pull this off. All right, so we have a notification of a tentative budget and appropriation ordinance on display at the Elk Grove Park District Administration Building, 499 Beesterfield Road, Elk Grove Village, Illinois. Having said that, I will need a motion and a second for the adoption of ordinance 398, an ordinance providing for the issue of $2,500,000 taxable general obligation limited tax park bonds for the building, maintaining, improving, protecting of the existing land and facilities of the district, and for the payment of expenses incident thereto, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on the bonds and authorizing the sale of the bonds to the corporate fund of the district. Can I get a a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on this? Hearing none, can we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Biecki?
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Wald?
Yes. Secondly, I'll need a motion and a second on resolution 19-01, a resolution authorizing and directing the conveyance of certain real estate located at 600 Landmeyer Road, Elk Grove Village, to the village of Elk Grove Village. Thanks.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Maybe we can explain what that is.
Sure. This is a small parcel of land, which basically has no access for the park district, in which we are going to deed it over to the village because they have a need for that parcel.
Perfect. Okay, any other discussion?
Did we skip 9A?
No, I just read it. You don't need to take a motion on it.
All right, can I go back to that just briefly?
You certainly can.
I just flipped to this inadvertently, but it looks like the budget was $22,987,362, and the appropriation is $2,344,710,924. Yeah, something went off the rails there.
Yes, that'll be corrected. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just random.
Kathy, did we take a vote on 9C?
Not yet.
Okay, do we have a motion and second on 9C?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner Biecki?
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
President Wald?
Yes. Okay, payment of the bills, January 10th, 2019, in the amount of $216,508.14. January 11th, 2019, in the amount of $133,890.30. And January 17th, 2019, in the amount of $50,743.09. I will need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on these bills? Hearing none, can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Biecki.
Yes.
President Wolf.
Yes. Okay, we need to adjourn to closed session for the purpose of discussing probable or imminent litigation per 2C11. Could I get a motion in a second?
So moved?
Second?
Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Biecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Sauter,
Yes.
President Wolf.
Yes.